Do the morning routine, water the chickens. Looks like they're in there sunbathing today, even though it was -10 overnight. I think it's like -2 right now. Good boy. So yeah, we had one of those plastic bowls, and I broke that thing because, you know, every morning it's a block of ice. That was a little aggressive, but that's what I shovel their snow into now. But these rubber ones that are flexible are nice. So I can just break it apart like this. And it comes out much easier. With the other one, I'd have to flip it upside down and kind of bang on it, and yeah, it didn't come out very well. But I love this rubber one. What's up, girls? Just think, girls, in about a month it'll be free range season for you. Oh, yeah. Just 2 this morning, but they seem to lay at about 10 a.m. If I come back out at 10 a.m., there'll be 4 or 5 more probably. I seriously cannot wait until I get to watch them roam around the yard again when the snow gets out of here. It's a lot of fun watching them in the yard. So, as we can see here, there's a deer track. Skeeter's kind of stomped all this around, but there's more deer tracks there. So they have found this, and they have been putting a pretty good dent in it, which is good. Like I said, the blue jays love this stuff too, so they eat their fair share as well. But yeah, it's a lot of fun feeding the wild animals. But honestly, it's an expensive hobby. Between feeding the birds and the deer and all that, we probably spend more money feeding wild animals than we do ourselves, and that's a fact. Anybody who feeds birds knows, you know, bird seed's not exactly cheap. They go through the suet, you know, the little suet feeders. They plow through those too, so it's an expensive hobby, but it's definitely worth it, I think, because you can hear all the birds around right now. I'm gonna go give this bannock bread to the chickens. We have extra from last night. I made venison stew. Bannock is just flour, baking powder, and salt, and then water. It forms a dough, and yeah, really easy to make. It's kind of plain this way, but I slap the butter on pretty thick, and it's good that way. You can do jelly. Yeah, you can mix brown sugar in. You can mix cinnamon in to kind of spice it up a little bit, but you can fry this right in a pan. You don't have to bake it in an oven, so it makes it nice. Really easy for camping. It was very popular with trappers, and the Native Americans ate a lot of it as well. Yeah, they go crazy for bread, as you can see. I mean, any kind of treats, but I always, look out Skeeter, I always make sure that they all get some, because sometimes there's like one or two that bully them. Like this gal right here, she hasn't had any yet. You can see, like, this one just comes and steals it. But I throw out plenty, that way they all get some. That one back there, he's getting bullied. Here's some more for ya. Hey, leave her alone. There you go. You want some too, Skeeter? So, looky here, we have officially started our seeds for our 2022 garden. Well, some of them. And I should even say started because I don't even know if these are going to germinate. But when it comes to the gardening, me or Sierra, we're not afraid to look stupid because we don't know what we're doing when it comes to gardening, really. You know, we've done research. You know, you can watch videos, do research all you want, but I feel like sometimes you just don't learn things until you actually do it. So as we're doing things, and for you experienced gardeners, it's probably going to be very cringy watching some of the things that we do, but just keep in mind we're new to this. Like, we're not going to act like we're expert gardeners, because we're absolutely not. So if any of you guys have pointers, or we're doing something wrong or stupid, you will not offend Sierra and I. Just tell us in the comments, like, hey, don't do it like that, it was dumb, don't do that, try this works for me. Because we want to learn as much as we can. We want to be good at this, but I think we have a long way to go. But anyways, we planted some, and I don't even think these are going to germinate. We'll see. I think we'll know in about 6 or 7 days. But I don't think that they're getting enough sunlight this time of year yet. It's a little early, and I don't know if they're even staying warm enough right here. You know, it's far away from the wood stove. I don't know. I don't know. So anyways, we'll see what happens with these. We got a really good deal on a bunch of seeds, so we're just kind of trying out some stuff, you know. And we were kind of excited. We wanted to start some. But if these don't work, that's not going to be the end of the world for us, because, like I said, we'll know in like 7 days, and then we'll be closer to the time that we probably should be doing these anyways. So we're a little early, but yeah, I just wanted to say with the gardening thing, those of you that have experience growing like here in Minnesota and in like northern climates, please let us know, because yeah, like I said, we're not experts, so any help is definitely welcomed. But we started some onions, some broccoli, some jalapenos. I know they're called jalapenos, but I call them jalapenos because that's what Ricky on Trailer Park Boys calls them. And then we started some peppers and asparagus and broccoli. Yeah, more broccoli. So that's what we got going here. Like I said, it's not going to be devastating if these don't work. We're just kind of, you know, having fun. We were excited. We're like, oh, let's plant some right now and just see. And at worst case scenario, if these get out of hand and things work out and they grow great, then yeah, if we got to, you know, transplant them into bigger pots, whatever, that'll be a good problem to have for us. So yeah, we're just experimenting. So, a beautiful day today. Actually, not really beautiful. It's kind of cold. It's like 12 degrees Fahrenheit, but warmer days are in the future. Next week, it looks like it's going to be low 40s during the week. So, I'm looking forward to that because that's going to start melting some snow. We've had a couple warm days, but not enough to really put too big of a dent in the snow. But I'm kind of eager to get the snow out of here. I love winter. It is my favorite season, but right now, it's like we're just kind of in between the seasons, you know, and it's just kind of a weird time of year. It's like we're getting teased a little bit, you know, and I really want to get started on projects. So this morning, I cut up some firewood. I did break out the chainsaw, mainly because it's getting to be that point, you know, like next week, if the snow melts enough, I can start on next year's firewood. That way it has all summer to dry. So it's kind of weird, you know, even though I'm still getting firewood for this year, basically, I'll be already starting on next winter's. But yeah, I wanted to get the saw out, make sure that runs good, because it's an old saw, and it's been abused. It's built a few log cabins now. It's put up a lot of firewood, and yeah, it started right up this morning. I brought it inside, to warm it up because it hasn't been ran since I built the log cabin workshop, and yeah, it fired right up. So that thing is mint. I love that saw. I think it's tough. So I've already brought in about half the firewood I cut up. I'm gonna go get the rest right now, and then I'll show you guys kind of our plan and where the bulk of our firewood for next year is gonna come from. So a lot of you have been noticing these pink ribbons on the trees and have been asking what those are for. And what I'm doing is I'm marking the maple trees because we're gonna thin out a lot of trees in this area all the way back to the log cabin workshop. And this is gonna become kind of our yard. There's still gonna be a lot of trees left, but I marked all the maple because I don't wanna mistake those for a popple. They kind of look alike, but you know, and if you get going, you might accidentally cut into one. And I just marked them because I want to be able to just go and fly when the snow melts. And like I said, I don't want to start cutting these now because if I do it now, you know, I'll have 3-foot high stumps when the snow melts. So why do it twice? But we're gonna leave all birch, all pine, so white pine, spruce, balsam fir, all those are staying. The only trees we're cutting down are popple. Skeeter, what are you doing, buddy? So if you look at this tree right here, this is a nice looking tree. It's healthy, it's lush, you know, it's had room to spread its wings. And you compare that to, look at these ones. You know, those are spindly, sickly looking, and the reason they're like that is because the popple trees have just choked them out. Popple trees are kind of like the weed of the woods, you know, they break off easy in the wind. They're just not very good trees. So we're gonna thin them out. Not everywhere, just in our yard here. But popple, you know, it's not the greatest to burn in your wood stove either, but we're gonna burn it because we're gonna use it because I don't want to waste anything. Might mainly be campfire wood, but anyways, that's why I want to thin them out. So we can continue to grow these white pines and spruce, the firs, and so they grow up to look like this. You know, this is what we want here in the yard eventually. It'll take a long time, but here, look at this white pine. Here's a perfect example. There's the top of it right there. It's a nice tall tree, but see how it's healthy up top here? It's green. And then look at below here where the trees were blocking the sun. There's no green, all the limbs are dead all the way up. But up top, they're nice because it's getting adequate sunlight. So that's kind of the reason why. And yeah, because anytime I cut down trees on this channel, you know, some people get offended or they don't like that in the comments. So I figured I'd explain myself a little bit this time and why I'm doing that. But we don't have a whole lot of pine. You know, it's mainly popple forest here. So that's why I'm saving all the maple, all the birch. That's basically all we have for hardwood on this property. So I'm not cutting down any of those. And then I'm keeping all pines. So the only trees I'll be taking down are popple because they're everywhere. They grow like wildfire. And I just don't want them in the immediate area here. I want to let the other trees have the opportunity to grow up to be big and healthy and nice looking trees. We're bringing in 220 watts of solar power today, so that's pretty good actually, because it's not even that sunny. So it's definitely been nice actually putting some power back into the batteries without having to run the generator. But I wanted to pre-warn you guys that I will be doing another EcoFlow video, and the reason I want to pre-warn you is because last time I did them, I got roasted in the comments pretty good because a lot of people didn't like that. But when this video comes, it's on the horizon. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be. It'll show it in the title. So if it's something that you don't want to watch, you don't have to watch it. But I agreed to do them because, as you can see, we use these products. This runs our kitchen. You've seen me use the other ones on trips, and they have worked exactly as advertised. And I would not do any sort of review videos for a piece of junk. I really wouldn't. And I want to do these because I use them, I love them, and they are beneficial to people that are looking to go off-grid and don't really know much about solar power. The nice thing about these is that they do everything for you, so you don't have to worry about sizing wires and, you know, charge controllers and inverters and all that. This just does everything for you, and they charge insanely fast off of a generator, and yeah, like I said, they work great. I mean, this thing runs our kitchen for several days when it's fully charged. That's the fridge, like toaster if we want to make toast that way. You know, anything. So they do work really well. So with that being said, I legitimately get 20 to 30 to 40 emails a day from different companies wanting me to review certain things. It's actually really overwhelming sometimes, and yeah, I don't do them because it's stuff I would never use. But these, I absolutely, like I said, stand behind them. We use them, and I could not recommend them enough for anybody that's researching off-grid power, is going to go off-grid, that's already, you know, off-grid, or that just wants a backup power system. I've had zero trouble with those. All three of them that I've done review videos on, no issues, and they've all worked flawlessly. So far, yeah, I've been a happy camper with them. So that's why I do them, and that's why I agreed to do another one. And like I said, a lot of channels I watch, you know, they do a review video once in a while, and I just don't watch it if it's something I'm not interested in. And then when they are making cabin videos and that stuff, I watch those. So that's the beauty of YouTube, you know, is nobody's forcing you to watch, you know, certain videos. You can either not click on it or click on it. You know, you have that power. So if it's something you're not interested in, just don't click. Or if you want to watch it and learn about it, then yeah, I'm going to do a video on it. So anyways, just wanted to clear that up a little bit. So I figured I would share this because I had a lot of questions on when I was building this about the foundation pads, and I still get tons of comments on those from that video, and how they're holding up, you know, how well do they work, all that. So I'll just show you, because a lot of people were questioning, you know, with frost heaving and all that. Well, we've just went through one of the worst winters in recent history in Minnesota, as far as cold goes, snow goes, all that. So it's been a good winter to break in the cabin. And as you can see, we're still sitting 100% level. I've had zero issues whatsoever. We'll go take a look underneath in a second, but yeah, not saying this is the best way to you know, do your foundation for a cabin, but I'm just here to show you that it does work. So looking underneath, you can see the pads up there. You can see the beams are all still resting on a pad. Pads are all still sitting level. Nothing's kittywampus. So yeah, so far they've worked out great. Like I said, who knows, sometime down the line in 10, 15, 20 years, who knows, I might have to adjust these a little bit, but I've already tried, and I can lift up this corner right here. I can get this beam up off that pad with just a bottle jack that I use for my, like that I have in my car. So that won't be a problem. But you know, any house is going to require maintenance at some point, and that won't be too big of a deal if I gotta, you know, like I said, in the future down the line sometime, if I gotta readjust the pad, that's not going to be too big of a deal. And you know, I have plenty of room to get underneath here and do it. So yeah, like I said, not the greatest. I'm not recommending this because it's not the best foundation out there, not even close, but it does work. So I just wanted to show you guys firsthand since it's been a year. In fact, that resort that was getting torn down, you know, I was there for the demolition of that, where I got that lumber from. Yeah, several of those buildings were just sitting on blocks, and they've been sitting that way for 80 years, even longer. And my grandpa has a 16 by 24 cabin that's been sitting on just railroad ties. And the cabin's probably 50 years old, maybe even 60. It was moved 25 years ago, and then it was set back on the railroad ties, and it's still, yeah, still holding up fine. It's settled into the ground a little bit, but it's not nothing alarming, you know. So yeah, it works. I want to show you this. Check it out. We have germination. Of all these seeds, I just looked, they all say 10 to 12 days. A couple of them say 12 to 14 days till germination. There were a couple little ones here too. I'm gonna rotate these and flip-flop these, you know, so they get the an even amount of sunlight. But yeah, so far so good. That's pretty promising. We'll see if we can keep them alive and keep them growing. And if we have any more that start sprouting here soon. But I'm excited. I didn't even think that we'd get to this stage because, yeah, they don't get a ton of sunlight here yet this time of year. But yeah, that's cool. It's exciting. So this video, I understand, is probably not the most exciting video, but we really are just in that weird time of year where we're in between seasons. You guys have seen the winter routine and all that, so I don't want to keep boring you with, you know, watching me melt snow and pull firewood around. So it just is what it is. In a few weeks, or a couple weeks, hopefully, when the snow gets out of here, we're gonna go from 0 to 100% real quick, and it's gonna be really, really busy. I have a list here of projects that we're gonna get done this spring and summer, so I'll share these with you so you know what to expect in the future. It's gonna be a very, very busy spring and summer for us. We have a lot of things planned, and like I said, it's gonna be busy. So number one is, first thing we're gonna do, and I'm kind of doing these in order of importance, is the porch roof. Because that's something I can start basically as soon as the snow gets melted off the porch and we get rid of a little bit of the snow in front of it, then I can start that. So that's going to be the first thing that we do probably. Number two is raised beds. I'm going to start building those, and again I can kind of work on those even while there's still snow, but I'm going to wait until there's a little bit warmer weather in the next week or two to start those. And then also the logging / firewood. So I talked about how I'm going to clear these trees in front of the yard out this window, and we'll be putting up 10 cords of firewood for next winter. So that's something that we'll be doing very soon here as well. First thing we're going to be doing as soon as the ground thaws is our well, and I know I talked about getting one drilled. I was talking to a guy up the road here, and he has a sand point that's 30 feet deep in his garage, and he said it has been working fine for many years. So yeah, it's a gamble, and I think I'm going to take the gamble and try to pound one, because that would save us thousands of dollars. But yeah, it's either going to go really well or not very well. It's either going to be a real big high if we hit water, or it's going to be like a real big low if we don't. But I'm going to give it a try, and that's going to be completely life-changing for us, because melting snow, collecting rainwater, it's pretty tedious, and yeah, a well would certainly change the game around here. Then, these are ones that are kind of on the back burner, but the new cabin build on the 40 acres, that's going to be something that I do once I get this place a little more buttoned up and ready for summer. That's going to be the next thing that I do. So I'm going to go out there, I'm going to pitch a wall tent on the new building site. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm basically going to be creating a whole new camp there, and it's going to be a really cool looking cabin. It's going to be, yeah, full series on that, just like I do with all my builds, and I'm really looking forward to that. You guys will really like that. So that is on the horizon as well. Also, the loft extension. I was just in Home Depot the other day. Lumber it was coming down, now it's back up. So I don't know, it's not exactly a priority to get this upstairs done. It would be really nice, but it's not exactly a massive priority, but it is something that we do want to accomplish this summer no matter what. And then the woodshed, so I'm actually gonna tear down that woodshed that I got from the resort last year. After going through that and seeing all what would all have to be replaced. I mean, the entire bottom plate's kind of rotted all the way around it. The top plate's rotted. A lot of the studs are rotted. So I thought I'd be able to save it, but looking at it, it's basically going to be like polishing a turd. So it's just going to be better to just tear that down. I'm going to take the shingles off, and then I'm just going to torch that thing, get rid of it. We'll erase that thing, and then I'm going to build a new one. That's kind of more what I want anyways. Just a lean-to built out of logs right from the property, and that'll be fun. And it'll also be closer to the cabin too. And then a log sauna. That's not exactly a priority right now either, but I'm going to put that sauna by my log cabin workshop, so those two buildings will match, and that way we can have a sauna. Saunas are better, for the winter time is when we're mainly going to be using that, so that'll probably be a fall project, but it is definitely one I'm looking forward to. And of course, that'll be a full series on that as well. So by the end of this year, we should have kind of our yard situated. Last year the cabin was the priority, took a lot of time, the chicken coop, all that stuff. And now this year we can really focus on the yard part of it, So, the raised beds, the logging, kind of creating our yard, our landscape, all that. We can direct our attention mainly towards that this summer, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's what you can expect going forward. Like I said, we're going to go from kind of slow to like really busy. There'll be a lot of videos getting pumped out this spring and summer, and we'll just continue to share our life with you. We have a lot of fun doing it, and we appreciate all the support. But as always, I appreciate you watching this video, and we'll see you soon. So here are the latest trail cam photos. This camera here is looking at where our garden was last year. There hasn't been a whole lot of action around there, but we did get a few pictures, a couple deer, and then this right here. And to me, that looks like a raccoon. Kind of hard to tell, but looks like that fat raccoon that was hanging around last year. Haven't gotten too much on this camera, but I am going to leave it because last year there was quite a bit of activity on this one. And it is always a fear of mine to be scrolling through the photos and have some meth head pop up and be walking through. And here are our new yard pets. So they have found the corn, like I said. And now that they have found it, they will be around often. And I probably had 200 pictures of the deer eating the corn, but I'll just share a few with you here. You can see a third one joins them, and in the early winter when we were feeding them on the side of the house, there was 3 too, so it's probably the same ones. But it's been a couple days since they found the corn now, and they have come back every night, so pretty cool. Once we get more into spring, we will probably see different stuff besides deer. We'll see the raccoons again, the fox. I'm sure the bear is going to find this at some point. So the trail cam photos will get a lot more interesting once we get rid of the snow.